Hello and welcome. I am the Suit&Tie Dip&ChewGuy, and this is going to be under experiments. So, in past entries of this playlist, I had put in pouches dry snuff. It was an older English variety that I had on hand that really couldn't be used nasally anymore. But since there has been a lot of chatter back and forth off and on about American dry snuff products and how they are actually used, I thought that I would pick some up and try bagging it. And I did. I did pick it up. It was sort of a off-the-cuff buy a week or two ago, and it is from Swisher International Railroad Mills. All right. So last night I got out the pouches, the empty pouches, and I filled a couple of them with the Railroad Mills, and I really packed it in there. So I'm going to just talk you through the process because this is there's no way I can actually do it on camera. And even if I had a camera that I could move around in a way that I could show it, there would be a ridiculous amount of editing to be done, and I'm not an edit guy, as you may have noticed. So, basically what I did is I broke out the reel of 120 snus portion bags, which that's what that looks like. All right. So you cut one off and then you cut the end off, and then you have a portion bag with one end sealed. You then take the snuff with a handmade card shovel that I made out of some paper, and I filled it. And then using this pen, I tamped it. Added a little water with this dropper, and then tamped it some more and added more, and then I repeated that process a couple times. It is rather lengthy and irritating, the process, so I'm not quite sure really if anybody actually wants to do this. It's a little labor intensive, to tell you the truth. Anyway, I got enough in, and basically what you do with a pouch bag material is you get it so you can pinch the top. You then put it on a metal edge. In this case, it is a portable electric radiator. All right. You then take a hot iron while it's sitting on the edge of one of the, how they have a bunch of up-down radiator, I don't know what that's called, but you know what I'm talking about. You put it on the edge of one of them because it's a thin, fairly sharp edge, and you iron it, and that seals the bag. Okay? So then I put it in an empty Stoker's straight tin because Lord knows I have enough of them lying around. And I took this, which I before said this was 10 milliliter. I don't know what I was thinking. This is 1 milliliter when pulled to the top point. That is 1 milliliter. The 10 on it is 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, up to 10, which is 1 milliliter. So basically I took 1 milliliter in this and dropped 5 points on each pouch. I made 2 pouches. I lost a couple along the way, so I ended up with 2. This can be found usually, with certain children's medications. Basically, it's a syringe without the needle. With certain children's medications, one of these comes with them, but they're usually a wider gauge, and they're like 3 milliliter, which is really too much. This came with some medicine for Duncan, my dog. So these can be had at usually like a veterinarian has them. You could always ask maybe. I like using them because they're very exact. You can place single drops where you want. I use it all the time if dip has dried out and I'm dropping water into the can. I used to take a soda cap, bottle cap full of spring water and do it that way. But then you got to drop it in the middle and then you got to start packing it in different directions to get it to disperse. This way you just sort of go around with it, put it in the fridge overnight. By the next morning, it's good. So, this is what the pouches look like. And they're sort of bouncing around in there. And I was a little surprised today when I opened them. Because number one, I had to drop another 5 and 5 of water on it. Because they had dried out. And they had expanded. These things are like, I don't know if you can hear that with my speakers. Do you hear that? Yeah, they're like rock hard. I was planning on putting in the upper lip. In fact, I may still have to, so I can feel if there's any nicotine absorption. But the tobacco seemed to, the bag dried out, but the tobacco expanded. To the point that I'm a little surprised that my seal held. Because I had it pretty full as it was anyway. So, this is my first attempt at actually dipping American dry snuff. So here it goes. I'm just going to put one in because and I'm going to hit the pause and then I will be back in a minute once something starts going on. And I am back. Okay, so the first pouch, because I now have the second one in my mouth, I put up top to make sure there was something going on tingling wise, and it did. Unfortunately, the pouch did break its end, the one I had sealed. So I took that out and put the second one in. The flavor is all right, but there's something sweet about it, but at the same time, it's not the greatest. I also used the can of what I had the Golden Glow in, pouched Golden Glow, the Samuel Gawith, which was a really strong smell flavor. So strong that even though I washed out the can after I got rid of the Golden Glow, it has tainted these pouches. I'm still tasting Golden Glow a little bit. So, but from what I can tell, the Railroad Mills, it's sweetened, but I can't really, it's not a natural. It's not even a SP, which is a natural, like a European natural nasal snuff. It's there and it has nicotine. There is a sweetness to it, but I can't exactly say what the flavor is. I can't say it's good, but at the same time, I can't really say it's bad either. It's sort of, it's very neutral with a bit of sweetness if juice builds up and you get it on your tongue. I am spitting with this, obviously. Now, had I known that the product was going to expand in the pouch, I wouldn't have put as much in as I did. So, that said, the first pouch broke. This one has not broken yet, but it's not overly comfortable. Okay? It's not, it's not jagged or anything. The pouch material's all right, but it's like a block. Now, to show how much I put in, I don't know if it's really going to translate, but I put a good bit in each pouch. Okay? Now, the 2 pouches I lost, it was just the pouches, the pouch material. So, really, what's missing out of that, which is a little bit now, was put into these 2 pouches. had I known that the product would expand, I wouldn't have put as much in. So, although it's not terrible, for the amount of work involved and the irritation of trying to get it in there, I don't know why you would do this. Unless, in some emergency situation, you got stuck by chance with a bunch of pouch bags and some dry snuff and nothing else. No money for dip, no chew, nothing to smoke, nothing. You got railroad mills and, by coincidence, 120 snooze bags. That's never going to happen, obviously, but you get what I'm saying. It's interesting. It's an interesting idea. It was interesting the fact that when the other bag broke, besides the little portion that came out, the stuff stayed together. It wasn't all migrating out of the bag. Why it expanded when I added water to the expansion of the product when I dropped water on it is one thing. That the product then dried and an expanded shape is a little odd, if you get what I'm saying. It didn't retract again afterwards. So, as I said, although this isn't unbearable by any means, I can't say I'm overly enjoying it at the same time. Now, these bags are actually supposed to be used with a X tool, which people that use loose snooze will know what that is. It's the little injector thing. You put it down on loose snooze. There's also one called a Perilous Master, I believe. But the Perilous Master won't work with these bags. You need the ice tool, the X tool, ice tool. And unfortunately, over the last 4 or 5 years since I priced them last, they have gone through the roof price-wise. They're like $35 or something like that. If they were still at their old prices, I would have considered getting one to try this with a little water added as loose snooze, because I think it might actually work. But the way money is right now in my off season, I can't see myself getting an X tool anytime soon. All in all, interesting to try out. I don't feel that it's been a waste of time, but this isn't something I'm going to be like, yeah, guys, you guys should all run out and do this. Try this yourself. Buy this, and it's just, it's just too much. The whole thing to make 2 pouches up took probably close to a half an hour yesterday. So that is that for right now. I will look into at some later time getting an X tool, ice tool, and maybe trying this along the lines of taking dry American snuff, adding water, and then trying the tool to inject it in a cylindrical cube, but I probably not too soon. So this has not settled the argument over what people are doing with this stuff, obviously, but the consensus would seem to be that elderly southern people in the eastern part of the United States are dipping it. Different theories on how they go about doing that. It is possible with a pouch, but it's also way more work than you would want to do. Okay, so this has been an experiment. It's a draw. I don't want to call it a success, but it wasn't a failure either. All right, I am the Suit&Tie Dip&Chew Guy. Do take care of yourselves, and as always, God bless.